All
Yeah.
right. They will be all right. Last.
Everybody will be all right. Next up on the Guardian, we have
Mm.
81 Division, FRSC strengthen collaboration on road safety in Lagos and Ogun State. Those are the headlines from the Guardian newspaper. Next up, we have from the This Day newspaper. Police dismiss ASP Nuhu Usman, others over extrajudicial killing of Mene Ogidi. We're going to get into it this morning because my oh my, that was such a brutal thing to see this week. CVR INEC displays preliminary voters register in Lagos. Moving on to the Daily Trust, we have Tinubu saying enemies trying to use insecurity to get rid of me. Tom. We also have women groups demand passage of special seats bill. I was talking about that as I started this morning. At this point, honestly, I'm hoping against hope, but my hope is frail. I'm not gonna lie, because this seat, like we've been saying, if you've been an ardent listener or follower of Women Reading, you know we've been talking about the special seats bill since since basically, and every morning even during the news we talk about it. We ask that this special seats bill is passed, but right now, close to when everything with registration and of parties and whatever else would shut down, we still haven't gotten any form of, yes, there's no leeway, there's no light at the end of the tunnel that we're seeing. We're not even seeing shadow of the light at the end of the tunnel. And there's been conflicting sentiment about this. We have people say they don't think it's going to be passed because these men, if you're a woman, you understand what I'm saying. Because these men, okay, let's just put it that way. And then there's some that are saying, well, what's the point of this bill? And we've explained this time and time again that look, this bill is not taking seats from anybody. This bill is saying that we need inclusivity, we need representation in the house, lower house and upper house, when it comes to women. When we need women to be able to stand for us. And unfortunately, will pass and will not pass, and will pass, oh no, we postponed. That's where we've been up until now. In Nigeria, we have less than 5% of women representing women. Now, think about a country that has, let's just say 50-50%. Let's put it that way. I think it's about 51 to
Mm-hmm.
59%, but let's just say
Mm-hmm.
50% men and women, and we don't have representation in the lower house and the upper house. Or even we've never had a female governor. Like, this is 2026 and we've never had that.
The one we had, they threw her away.
We've not even gotten to presidency. I remember a couple of years ago, there was a woman who contested for presidency. I think that was on that COA initiative. Only God knows where that party is now. I think her name was Comfort Shonaya. Yeah, or something.
We did have a woman governor who contested elections and won, but
Eh,
Nigeria did their whatever
eh,
and threw her out.
my
You
point
know.
is, yeah, that's what I said. We've not had anyone at all. We've had women who've been there. In fact, we've had women who have been who have contested for certain seats and trouble was made for them
Yeah.
to fight to sit down on the seats, right? So, and that's the point I'm trying to make, that in the year 2026, big 2026, we're still begging, we're begging at this point for inclusivity for women. My mind is blown. My mind is blown because how does a man want to represent me when it comes to things that affect me as a woman? How does a man want to represent me when it comes to children, the disabled, less privileged? Because men are, and this is not even shade to men or anything like that. This is just that we know how men are. So a woman to be able to take on the burden, take on the responsibility of taking care of women, less privileged, children, fans, this disabled. I'm just so tired of talking about this, unfortunately, but we have to keep talking about it because it has to pass. This is the 10th Assembly, and this bill has to pass. But at the same time, it's important that we also prepare ourselves just in case, because my. That's all. Anyway, those are the headlines from the Daily Trust. Moving on to the Vanguard newspaper. No, no restriction. APC says aspirants freely picking forms to challenge Tinubu and governors in 2027. I like what APC, what it is that APC thinks that they're doing, being like, oh no, it's okay. You can, when you people have already said who you've already fielded who your candidates are as out.
Consensus.
Like you're just trying to make it, you think like please. Moving on again to in the Vanguard, we have tension rises in Benue as residents raise alarm over influx of armed herdsmen. This week, we read a headline of how some troops have been recalled from Borno State, and about 30 villages have been emptied because of this. So, saying, what do you mean an influx? What happened at the boundary when these headsmen were coming in? Why they stopped and the headsmen are armed? Since when do headsmen become armed? Is it not goat and cow that they're taking care of? But we all know what we're doing. In the premium times, we have courts to shield prosecution witness as coup trial of Army General and others begins. This is based off of the alleged coup plot that was foiled last year. Next up, we have 2027. Straightener joins APC presidential race, purchases 100 billion naira forms to challenge Tinubu. When I said this, I was like, trader, where do you see 100 million? But this trader, Stanley Osifo, I think is his name, from Edo State, bought a form. Interestingly, some people have now come out to say, oh no, boy, it's Tinubu that gave him the money to buy, so it will not be like
Oh,
nobody. And
oh,
then it was like, you know what? I didn't see this one, but okay. Because it's a bit weird. Like a trader, 100 million naira. A trader that has worked for his money would not just drop 100 million naira. So from nowhere, you don't have any pedigree when it comes to politics, and then you say you want to challenge Tinubu. You people,
mm,
you know,
you know, the hand of Esau, the voice of Jacob.
so,
I love Nigerians. We know ourselves and we have seen enough to be able to fix the jigsaw puzzle when we see it.
yeah,
Okay, but before you mention the fact that people were saying maybe it's Tinubu that bought the form, my mind was already going in that direction that, oh,
right.
this is supposed to be a game. Okay, everybody has been crying that they've taken out the opposition and all of that. So that becomes what they would make a reference to that. Look, I mean, somebody, yeah, is opposing him, somebody is coming in the APC to say, okay, we know this game. And, sometimes when I look at it, I just find it so petty. And I just, as they say in the current Nigerian slang, among the Gen Zs and whatever, they no rate us at all.
At
Okay.
all.
The Englishman will say, credit me with some intelligence. They
Yeah,
don't credit us with any intelligence at all. That's why they spin this kind of things. So we know the way we operate here. No, nobody, let alone a trader, will put down 100 million to pursue, a journey that he himself knows is of no return for him. So it must be some business deal that is coming up here. So let's see. And of course, we remember primaries, the primaries that brought Tinubu to government. I mean, oh, I stepped down. I stepped down. You get what I mean? And we know that when they say I step down, nothing goes for nothing. So,
so it is well. Moving on to to the Nation newspaper, we have federal government intensifies push for online enrollment enrollment for pre 2004 civil servants. Next up on the Nation, we also have IG on F1 shooting, killer cops to face disciplinary action. What do you mean disciplinary action? But we're going to get into it. Let me not get ahead of myself. In the cable newspaper, we have Tinubu borrowing is not leprosy. Nigeria will take loans when necessary. I saw a video and I think that every time I see videos that the president does, I'm just amazed. That's all I can say. Me, I'm just really amazed because I'm like, you cannot possibly be saying this, sir. You cannot. No.
Well, he is, and he has, and he will.
Mm. So, still on the cable newspaper, we have 62 Nigerians detained in Uganda for operating church without work permits. People have carried your bad behavior in that country, your bad behavior, your bad character in that country. And you see, when this whole this intensified xenophobic attacks were happening, these new fresh ones that we've been seeing in the last 2 3 weeks, one of the things I kept on saying was like granted there are badly behaved Nigerians all over, but those don't account for the well-behaved Nigerians who go abroad to make a honest living for themselves. However, what we see more of is news, because bad news is what sells really, is bad news with regards Nigerians doing illegal activities, doing I don't know any money via illegal means, just bad character. When we see something that
Mm.
is bad, let's say that is bad. Because in this case now, how do you go to another man's land, another country, and you're operating a church there, an organization, whatever, without work permits? So these people now will say it's God that told them to go to Uganda. You are now spoiling the name of God because God definitely did not send you. I am a God called me that God did not call. You are the one that called yourself.
Let me ask you a question. For me, how many churches in Nigeria, have permission to be set up?
Simba, you want to start? You want to start in something that to be started
Hey, you're
something.
starting something.
Started something. Simba, explain.
No,
Explain.
that's the thing. Look,
Explain.
and for a number of these people, all these mushroom places, they don't even know. They are a number of them are sincerely ignorant, oh, because it's like, what is this? I start a church in my sitting room. Do you know that my mom has a house that has this large compound?
Mm,
One day, my uncle just came to the house. Of course, my mom had passed in and was like, "Are you the one that rented out your mother's property to church?" I said, "Church, be Tibawo."
mm.
By the time I got there, eh, there were two tenants in the house, up and down.
Yeah.
But because of the large expanse of land, they are chipped up to start a church, and they are built on the space. For me, someone not the touch or they had used block work to build, put steel pillars, roofed it with asbestos roofing sheets. When I got there, for the first few minutes, I just stood looking like my mouth wide open, and I could not believe it. So I told her, I said, listen to me, I'm a Christian. I give you 3 weeks. If you don't put this thing down, bulldozer no matter gbogbo ẹ̀ wò. Do you? And I told them, I said, heaven is not going to fall. Anything you want to do, turn talking fire speaking, myself abiam. That's to tell you how how we
It's
are.
true. Like I'm not from the church of Satan or anything like that.
Ah, so that's what they have carried outside. They have said it, their bad behavior. But you see, what they will do here and escape, they will not escape over there. So let Uganda give them the right treatment. Maybe
Yeah.
they will serve as a example or deterrent to others.
Oga, oga.
So,
I mean,
mm,
and this is something that we talk about even when we were talking about demolition, when those houses were being demolished. I remember that one of the things that you kept on saying was that these buildings were illegally placed or built there.
many of them.
So, eh, anyway, moving on to the daily post, like I said, Tinubu appoints Bianca Odumugo.
Odumegu.
Odumegu, I'm like wondering what this spelling is. Ojuku, Foreign Affairs Minister. So now we
Mm.
have a foreign affairs minister. We have a minister of foreign affairs. So hopefully, all the fights that's happening in all the killings in xenophobia, I say in xenophobia, well, yeah, in South Africa. Let's see what she's going to do about this one.
What's the qualification? What's the pedigree? What's the experience? What's the
But
capacity? What's the competence? Eh?
let's not do this.
All
Let's
right.
let's not.
Look, I've zipped my mouth. Mm.
That's because it is well. Boni appoints Goje as Yobe SSG. Moving on to the Tribune newspaper. Article to Tinubu: attempts to blackmail opposition won't rescue your failed government. Next up, we have Niger NLC pushes 30,000 naira minimum pension. Finally, in the dailies this morning, from the pen pushing newspaper, Abia State government uncovers alleged looting of 1.86 billion naira in public funds.
Really?
Where is the money? Where is the money? Oh, where is the
Uh,
money?
that one a chicken change now.
Is well. Next up, spirituality not far from extrajudicial killing of suspect by police officer in Delta State, says command spokesperson Koyemi. Anyway, we're just going to slide right into the headlines for this morning that we're going to be tackling. But before then, we are live on YouTube at WFM917.com. And you can listen to us on the go via our website, www.wfm917.com. Our phone lines are now open. You can call right now to send us messages. Also, we have started a new initiative. You can send us your voice notes. You can send us your voice notes to give in your contribution, because we understand that, look, everything is expensive now. Some people can't even afford credit anymore. So please send us your voice notes via WhatsApp and send us your messages. Call lines 07000 or 9155 You can text us on 0703 1756 537. Text or send us a voice note on 0703 1756 537. Okay, let's get into it. This one, somewhere we all woke up to see this video, right? Of of a police officer, questioning a guy who was not armed. That needs to be said, who was not armed. This civilian was not armed. Mene Ogidi was not armed. He was handcuffed, right? And they were questioning him. He was like, I will confess, I will confess, I'll tell you everything, I'll tell you everything. And boom, he was shot by this particular police officer, ASP Nuhu Usman. I don't even, when we see things like this, you are just appalled on so many levels, because we sit here sometimes or we sit in our houses, we pick up our phones and we see how police officers are killing people in America, unarmed people in America, and we lend our voices to say this is wrong, this is bad, how dare they. But hello, it has now come to our domot, because what is this? From the 10 pushing headline, we saw that they said spirituality. To be honest, we're just going to cancel that one out, because let's not be adding spirituality to things that don't spirituality doesn't need to be added
I
to.
don't even understand, the connection.
Right.
And on a serious note, just on the face of it, literally, I don't understand that sentence. Maybe if I understood the sentence, if I understand the sentence, I'll be able to decode it and see the point of
Yeah.
argument of whoever wrote that. But I really don't understand the statement, so I'm not going to be able to speak to that.
Yeah.
Now, concerning that video, I was lucky enough to have been told about it before I began to see the news item
Mm,
on my gadget myself. So I just didn't bother myself, uploading it, or downloading it and watching. I don't watch such things. I need to put my mental state in a good place. However, when a policeman, and he wasn't alone with the guy, I think there were other policemen with him or something,
yeah.
and in broad daylight, in the under the spectacle, of so many people. It tells you so many things about men in uniform. Okay? Now, I've said it over and over again. The moment a Nigerian wears a uniform, it takes it, as the power to do all things. And it takes it as a forever immunity. I can do anything when I want it, how I want it, including taking people's lives, and nothing is going to happen.
Mm.
The men in uniform in this country don't understand the meaning of it. They don't understand that when you are a state official, especially in uniform, the a duty of restraint, you know, is on you beyond the ordinary citizen.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and so when a man just takes the gun and pulls the trigger like that, you question many things.
Yeah.
One of the first questions you want to ask is this sin? Now, we might say, no, 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 don't use that as an excuse. But as far as I'm concerned, there are many people with mental situations, critical mental situations, that are not just walking the streets of Nigeria,
Hmm.
but have been armed
That are
and are in
armed.
uniform.
Yeah.
You understand? And when you put a gun, a rifle, whatever it is, in the hand of somebody who has some raving madness, what
Yeah.
exactly do you think is going to happen? Because their brains have gone on holiday. Do you get the brains have gone dormant? So my primary call this morning, because we're talking solutions here, my primary call this morning would be to the force, I mean to the security operatives in Nigeria to go the extra mile and begin to look at the way they recruit people
Yeah.
into these outfits, and also look at constant, continuous training, and then also test. They must carry out medical tests, okay, psychological tests to determine that these are people who are sane. These are people who are, who have some level of exposure, of training, who have value for human life and all of that before you are able to put a rifle in their hands.
Mm-hmm.
Because it is sad. It doesn't matter how criminal that young man was. Even if that young man had killed, a dozen people, the law of the land requires that he be given a fair hearing, that he should be prosecuted, given a fair hearing, and let his condemnation and sentencing come from the courts of
Mm-hmm.
legal competence.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And even if the court, passes what you call it, a judgment of death on him, you know that if a judge does that, it is not automatic for them to go and carry out or execute that, judgment. The governor of a state still has to sign. These are things that are put in place to check excesses and to
Mm-hmm.
create a balance.
Mm-hmm.
So the optics are very bad for the nation, not to talk of international observation.
Yeah.
So for me, that kind of officer, should not just be said they be easily handed over. Let the trial of that officer be open. I think that in this situation, we must get there so that you want to give to the public a sense of justice, a
Mm-hmm.
sense of, because we know the way these things work in Nigeria. God help us. Okay, they've said what they have said. Before you know it, that piece of news item is over. Where other things will come and we will face other things, and then they keep it in the family. Before you know it, that guy is sent somewhere
It's
else.
different.
Do
Yeah.
you get what I mean?
Yeah.
And then, in Nigeria, we've heard of instances where somebody, is a culprit, has been sentenced, and they will go and pick somebody else to replace him to get the judgment. Let them begin to rise in this nation, men and women of conscience, especially in sensitive places. So I'm waiting it out, and I'm also calling my people, the media, the Fumis. It is not enough for us to say a news item as, you know, strong as this, to carry it for people to hear, and then we leave it there. There, I think it, it is a duty upon the media, the fourth estate, to pursue it to a critical conclusion for to continue to give us an update on it until it's over. You are the only one, it's the media that can help us out. Otherwise, we'll just continue, short of saying, but making, speaking the wrong prophecies. Otherwise, you won't see the end of this. So, but I
Mm.
commiserate with the family of the young man,
Yeah.
and I do hope really that justice is served.
Yeah. Boy, boy, boy. My. And I mean, I remember that when the whole state police conversation was happening, I one of my major concern, and is still my major concern, is that already we have issues with the police force using excessive force, to talk to civilians or even criminals. And then now we see this. But my concern was, if we're still managing to curtail their excesses, how much more you now give them autonomy, you give them agency and say, oh no, you can do, these are the things that you can do. You now have power unto yourself in a state. And then when I saw this one, I was like, yeah, it's a no from me. Even though I understand why there is need for the state police right now, and like you rightly said, you need to check the mental health, mental state of people. Because here's the thing, Nigerians are going through so much. Nigerians are upset, they're cranky, they are getting hostile to people. If you're walking the streets of Lagos, if you just randomly smile to somebody, the person is wondering what is that, what happened that you're smiling. Even when you smile to your friends, because think everybody is just trying their possible best to make ends meet and make life at least bearable for
And to
themselves
survive.
and their family, and just to survive. Yes. How much more, police officers that we see? Sometimes I'm highly irritated when I see police officers or paramilitary, whoever, FRC, you know, ah, did in the bid that you drop 500 naira or 1,000 naira for them. And I'm just like, no, like you're earning a living just like I'm earning a living. But sometimes when you pass certain places, you can see a little bit of aggression in their faces, like,
Mm,
depending on the car that you're driving. If you're driving a small car, maybe you just feel, oh, we're in the same level. If it's a big car, there's just that little hint of aggression. And over time, we've been seeing this aggression move from one level to another because people are not doing well mentally. If you go and check yourself, nobody is really, really doing well mentally, so to speak. So these things are the things that I worry about. I worry about, and I'm just like, So it's a no from me, like the state police, because like you've rightly said, this would happen. Oh, disciplinary committee. It's not disciplinary. He should be like it. This is, he has committed a crime. It won't a disciplinary committee. No, he has committed a crime and should be charged accordingly. And because he's a police officer, his the penance, I mean the penalty for it should be higher. But then again, like you said, we are in Nigeria, and sometimes these things is kind of like what I ordered versus what I got that we get. But
let me make a
anyways,
quick response to two things that you have said. Okay. Number one, all right. I hope I don't. So these days things just keep my head.
mhm,
But number one is the issue of the state police.
mhm,
Look, I'm sorry to disagree with you.
that's fine.
Yeah, because one of the things that we find in Nigeria is that too many things are on the federal government, are on the government at the national level.
Fair,
And
fair.
because of the, enormity of it, the largeness of it, efficiency comes to question.
Mhm.
Now, whether you like it or not, whether the police is broken into state or at the federal level, Omi Eko Ekoni, it's the same people.
Yeah,
All right. Ahead. Now, this thing they have done, this is a federal police. They have carried out this madness in a state.
yeah,
Okay. So actually, in the real sense of it, what we're talking about is authority and control. I believe that if you have state police, it is easier to manage a smaller fraction of the major. Now, if we do it well and the necessary controls and authority are put in the right places, okay, then it might be easier for us to manage and oversee. That's my position because
Yeah.
we're not the only ones. All over the world, nobody puts police, lump them together under one central authority. There's state police, there's community police. It's the same reason why
Sorry,
we have
hold that
federal,
thought.
state,
So sorry, Simba,
and
hold that thought. We have a call. Hello, good morning. It's my baby. Hi, how are you this morning? I've missed you. You've left us to our heads.
That found out somebody's about to kill herself because of yeah.
Okay.
is that Mrs. Obodi? I can't hear.
Yeah, this is about
That's just about pollution. But that's not even the issue right now because my head be hot.
Mm.
You see, plants in uniform. Without assessment, their characters, and their person. This is what you do. Get what you had, and you get something different from the entire page. I mean, this is not excusable. This so she will listen to the police.
Oh dear
They
Lord.
probably didn't push for this very Nigeria, the council police are pushing for justice for the justification for madness. So madness is a single happy thing. Alongside him, they are hitting somebody that is desperate. A defenseless boy at close range. Any longer to us. We need to what we will do. Do you understand the gravity of what the fire is? Because to the social media. Do you know how many things are being executed by policemen allegedly and doesn't make its way into our spaces that we don't see? That is spaces in uniform. So deep and injustice theory, political resolution and deserving punishment. These people should not go scot free. It's appealing, it's happening, we will see this online law. This man has to face the consequences of his actions for weekdays. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Oboli. Yeah. Somebody, I'm sorry to have cut you. You wanted to say
No,
something?
that's fine. So let me say that I've spoken about the state police so that we can manage our time. The second thing I wanted to draw out from what you have said, and Mrs. Obodi has also said, is the fact that I believe that we need to get to a point in Nigeria where what we have is that the military have their own system, they have their own disciplinary, system, and how they are tried, when there's an infraction and all of that. I want to believe that one of the things, we should be fighting for at the National Assembly is that when it comes to certain things, the police or the military cannot, begin to say they have autonomy. A case of murder like this should automatically go out of their hands and be referred to the court.
Mm.
Okay? Yeah. Now, what they can now have the power to do is absolute dismissal or whatever of that person, depending on the kind of, on the kind of crime. Now, if it's not a crime that is as
Sorry to
bad
cut
as
you
murder,
again, Simba. We have another call. Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Hello, good morning, Dixon.
No matter what it is,
continue like this, and because the Bible is clear. Jeremiah 17:11. You cannot utilize it. Let them go on and anyone get you. Do something and get away. You cannot get away in heaven because you remember it was not for. I can tell you, I disagree with you in certain area. Before you are recruited in police, you do under because I told I once I went to the police training school. They check your record. If you have criminal record, check a lot before you are recruited. Before you start the training. Do not that they recruit anyhow. But would if you ask certain questions, why do police behavior? You know after your training and everything handed over to you, know how you also are going to behave. It's a Nigerian thing. We don't have the fear of God. So, but what about that? It's a Nigerian thing. The way we don't really love ourselves in our country, and human life is nothing. You know, you can do anything. Yes, I call remember what they are going to in the son of totally. Even our blood, remember, all this in our blood, this one needs to be brought to book. You need to go example for behind. Something besides the good to hold that or something. God bless you, God bless Nigeria. God bless you, God bless.
Thank you so much, Evangelist Dixon, for your comment. Let's take these messages. Imagine paying landlord without settling agents. With all their years in politics, how can you allow such a loophole to happen? I blame Atiku, Mark, and Aregbesola. All they had to do was to properly settle these guys, and they would have saved themselves from all these court cases. How can they handle Nigeria if you can't solve a gentleman's agreement? Olushega Ajayi from Odonwa Ikorodu says. Next up, we have Adishino Wasiu. He says, Supreme Court will deliver judgment on ADC and PDP case today. I hope those who try to blackmail the judiciary because of this case will accept the judgment wherever the judgment goes. Because when the Supreme Court reserves judgment, some call judges all kinds of names. For the IG to dismiss the killer police officer is a welcome development. And Mr. President says he will not be pushed out of power because of the killings across the state. My advice to him, with security reports available to him, is that he should do the needful by stopping these killings and bringing the sponsors and perpetrators of these killings to book. He also goes ahead to say, on APC consensus candidates across the state, and some are picking forms for their choice candidates, and some people who are not party members are complaining. What concerns Aguero with overload? That is their party. One thing I want people to know is that 2027 is a contest, and one person will win and others will lose. So prepare your mind very well in this. On borrowing for the Elephant Project, it is necessary. Okay, no, he has sent this before. Okay, all right, that is it. From our messages. Okay, we have one more. There is a saying that he that plays the piper dictates its tune. When you compromised sensitive institutions like Cash and Carry, INEC, and the judiciary with 300% salary, and Wike built houses for all your judges in Abuja, why wouldn't they do all their bidding? Remember, it was your president that appointed Kekere and Amopiton. You cannot win or get judgment against APC. Check all the court cases against APC. It is based on technicalities, and it was in favor of APC from 2023 till now. That is why APC government will tell you to go to court. Remember, your judges said that on his mandate, they all shall stand. That is why we are in this nightmare. But be surprised if today If today's case favors APC and not ADC, it's a shame. The worst of us is ruling the best of us. Truly, there was a country that is from Lekon in Lagos. Lastly, Mrs. Oboli says, she comes back to say, do you know why the safety catch of a gun is always on? Is to avoid unwanted discharge of bullets. This policeman's act was actually deliberate and he should be severely dealt with for doing what he did. Thank you so much for all your messages this morning. I want you to react to one of these messages, which is the one Olushagaja said on imagine paying your landlord without settling agents. That landlord is almost to agents are national excos and state excos. That's so he's blaming Atiku, David Mark, and Arab Greshola that they did not settle these guys. Is that what is happening? Tumbo?
The guy is trying to tell you. I think it's a sarcasm there.
Mm,
It's trying to tell you in Nigeria that's the way the cuckoo crumbles. So why are
yeah.
you trying to say, "But if you had settled them, road for open for you,
Mhm.
But it is a shame that
Yeah.
we bring such thoughts, on into public spaces.
Mhm.
Rather for us to rise up and do an absolute condemnation, we take
Mm.
it as a joke, which is why sometimes you begin to wonder at Nigeria. They just they joke at every serious thing, and you
Mm.
begin to wonder, is this what we should be doing now? Well, sometimes it's out of frustration, it's out of a sense of nothing good can come out of Nazareth. Okay,
Mm.
so let's go along. Of course, it's not a right thing to do, but the guy is just speaking out the reality
Yeah.
in our climate.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna go to this next one. This is still Women Radio 91.7. The time is 20 minutes past 8. This is the Daily News Review where we've been running through the headlines, and right about now, we are tackling the ones that caught our eye. Before we go, because we are running out of time, I want to ask somebody this question because I asked Emmanuel on Monday. Zoning. This zoning of a thing. And this is from the Punch newspaper. Zoning splits, coalition, obedience demand Southern candidates. I'm not really getting into the paper, but I'm getting into the idea of zoning. How did it come about? Who brought it on? Don't you think, or do you think that this zoning thing has put us into more trouble as opposed to fielding a candidate who is best for the job, regardless of the zone he's from or she is from?
It's a turn by turn thing.
Okay.
Look, in as much as ordinarily I would put my vote for competence and not care about zone where somebody comes from, but in a country like Nigeria
Yeah.
that has been so polarized, along tribal and ethnic lines, zoning becomes, important.
Okay.
Okay, zoning is a way of appeasing the people who are holding the short end of the stick, because whether you
Mhm.
like it or not in Nigeria, some tribes, some people hold the longer end of the stick. Otherwise, you might find yourself in a situation where one zone continues to produce, the president for life. Okay, so now the idea behind zoning is maybe it's not how do I put it now? I don't want to use the wrong word. It's something that comes out of a good conscience, but again, it is something that at the foundation of it is submission to, I don't have, what else can I do? You
Yeah.
get what I'm talking about? It's a defeatist kind of situation whereby, okay, at least let's get this so that we
Mm.
know that, when that rotation is, no side is left alone. But the
Right.
truth of the matter is, Nigeria is not, when you say zone to the north or zone to the south, the north is divided, the south is divided. Okay, so you still have some form of inequality, whether you like it or not. For instance, when you zone to the south, have you ever seen somebody from the eastern part of this country take, coming in? If
Mm.
you get what I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
yeah,
I
I
mean,
do.
what about the minority groups? Are not the only way Goodluck Jonathan was able to have, a taste and a shot at the presidency and representing the South South is because of what happened. I don't think that if Yar'Adua had not died, good luck Jonathan would have taken up the ballot box, and we have a situation in Nigeria that is peculiar. So it's not the best, but let them keep to it to get some form of equity, or otherwise. We know ourselves. So there are people who hold the longer end of the stick in this country.
Hmm.
It's not the best, but in the circumstances that we find ourselves, it is that which can help us to douse tension.
Hmm. I am, how old am I? I'm 40, and I don't think that I've actually seen an Eastern president. Have I? No, I haven't.
Where are
We've
you
had,
going to find it?
hmm, that's interesting. So I get what you're saying. So it's a case of how come the only people that you're saying that are competent are only from a particular zone. When will it get here?
Mm-hmm.
Especially in a country like Nigeria that we have three major tribes, and people even still have issue with that three major tribes, right? And then we have over 250 uh,
Million.
ethnic groups,
Oh, ethnic groups.
ethnic groups in the
Yeah.
country, and it's over 250 because there are some that you don't even know of that are
Mm,
there. That's I
mm.
said I was going to ask because I've always wondered about it, and then the more I see the zoning conversation, the more I see the zoning headlines, I was like, let's get into this morning because so
Listen to
yeah,
me.
yes, please.
From 1960 that we gained independence, run through the list of heads of states and presidents. Obasanjo, who became a head of state, was accidental. His case
Mm,
was more or less like Goodluck Jonathan.
mm-hmm,
And they've always been from the northern part of this country. There's no hiding their tongue to say it.
mm,
Do you understand? And when we eventually flowed into, what do you call it now, into the civilian government
mm-hmm.
in
Democracy.
1979,
Mm-hmm,
what did you see
mm-hmm,
also? What did you see? When he went back to the military, after a few years of civilian, where we had only 4 years, 79 to 83, the military took over. When they took over, what region did you see again dominating? It was
mm-hmm,
absolutely the northern region that dominated. Okay, it was when we now came to this second republic, or whatever republic we call it, that you had an Obasanjo come up. You get what I'm talking about? So it's been, and of course
mm-hmm,
anybody can argue that when it comes to the south, the Yorubas appear to have dominated it.
mm-hmm,
Obasanjo is a Yoruba man. Tinubu is a Yoruba man.
mm-hmm. And good luck
So
was a mistake because
yeah, yeah,
his
good
principal
luck
had
was
passed.
just now he named push and there. Good luck, push. You understand? Luck. So this country is not balanced. You
Mm,
understand what I'm talking about? And then when you talk about that, you now talk about minorities. What's wrong with the Calabar man coming there?
mm.
You understand? What's wrong with an Igbo man coming there?
Effective
What's
man.
wrong?
Mm,
What's wrong with yes, coming there?
mm-hmm.
These are the realities that we have refused to face, and those are the things that are troubling us from under. God will help us. So
God will help us indeed. And with that being said, we have come to the end of the Daily News Review program this morning. Today was a little bit heavy, but we found our way in the end. Thank you so much, Sumba, for always coming on. We truly, truly appreciate you and appreciate your contributions every time that you come. Our no nonsense queen.
always a pleasure.
Every time you
Thanks
come,
for
our
having
very,
me.
very objective, very, very balanced take that you always give. Catch you same time next week, Sumba, for another edition. In the month of May, happy new month in advance for another
Happy
edition
New Month.
of the Daily News Review. This is still Women Radio 91.7. 8 o'clock is the news. 9:05 is her lands. Don't go anywhere. We also have great music. Today's old